Welcome everybody back to the Big Four podcast. We got a lot of college basketball for you, but we will start with Michigan State completely messes up the hiring process. They thought they had their man, and they couldn't get him. They thought they had Luke Fickle, and did not end up going well. So, Chris and Alex, what are your reactions to this Fickle thing?
That's embarrassing. Not really Michigan State, I don't know who they got behind them. But he basically...
Brett Bielema.
Yeah, he turned down a Big Ten program to stay in the American. So,
exactly.
Not that Cincinnati's a bad team, but on paper and really in theory, Michigan State would be the most bigger appeal. And he turned it down and said he wanted to stay in Cincinnati. So, not really a good look. And I don't know who they have in the works to hire behind, after Antonio. So,
Brett Bielema.
Yeah, he was terrible at Arkansas. So, I don't know. We'll see what they do.
Oh, Mike, they could hire Chad Morris. You look at this and some terrible reporting. A huge mistake by, I don't know, Mike doesn't know who this guy is, but the guy who reported that this thing was basically done. And then we get the alert today that he actually turned down the job. And, I'm not gonna blame Michigan State for bad reporting, but I will blame them for the fact that their job is not as attractive as a Group of Five team, and I don't care who the Group of Five team is. That should never be the case, and it does say a lot about Michigan State's program and the way it's going. It's Mike was saying it during the season this year. It's going in the wrong direction, and I don't know if they're going to be able to recover. This is a big blow to their program to have a guy stay at a Group of Five program and not come to Michigan State. But, you look forward. They got to look forward now, and they should go get Brett Bielema. Great coach. Did a lot at Arkansas. Had a great tenure at Arkansas. Really, he was competing for SEC championships every year. So that's who they should hire. But this is disappointing that Michigan State screwed this up and they weren't able to get Luke Fickle.
It's interesting, very interesting. They messed it up, no doubt. That was the guy they wanted. That was their number one option, and they didn't really have a plan B, and they couldn't get him. And it's unfortunate. The timing was probably the main reason why Fickle didn't want to go. I completely understand that. He has 7 children, which is a feat by itself, but he didn't want to move his entire family up there. So, yeah, whatever. It's just bad. This AD, he's an intern. He was basically an interim guy. He's not the guy you want leading your coaching search. And he messed it up royally. Not to mention, now you're down to 7 or 8 on your coaching list. With guys like Narduzzi saying he's staying and got other guys saying that they're staying, and they're kind of screwed right now. Listen, I don't think Brett Bielema is a bad coach. I think he's a good coach. It's just I don't like the fit at all. It doesn't feel like a good fit to me at all. So I wouldn't want him. I think they got to go all out on PJ Fleck. They got to put $20 million a year on the table. They got to double up Harbaugh's salary and say, listen, we need you here. We need you here, buddy. We will pay your $10 million buyout. We'll bring you here. If you can't get PJ, I'd call up Nick Saban. I'd call up Urban Meyer. And then if those fail, maybe Saban will take a hometown discount. If you can't get Saban, you got to go out. You got to try to get. You got to ask Pat Narduzzi again. if you can't get Pat Narduzzi again, you got to go suck up to what's his name, Luke Fickle again. You got to promise him $30 million a year. Can't do that. Then you're stuck with Mike Tressel, who's the interim head coach right now. And if you got him maybe as an interim, you could. It has its pros and has its cons. The pros would be if you have Mike Tressel be your interim coach this year, you could have a full-blown coaching search next year. The cons to that being you would get 0 recruits. Michigan State might not sign a recruiting class next year if they have an interim coach. So that's sad, but true. I don't care who they hire head coach. I'm expecting 1-11. I'm expecting 2-10. I'm not expecting much with the schedule they have. It's not looking good next year at all. But listen, got to go out, got to pay PJ Fleck $40-50 million a year. You got to do whatever you can to get your guy. Ask Izzo to take a pay cut. Do whatever you can, but you got to get that guy. You got to do it.
What is Izzo going to coach the football team?
Well, actually, listen, I wouldn't be so against that. I would be okay for that. But anyways, I mean, it's not good. It feels like Tennessee 2.0 a couple years ago. I know they went to Buffalo. They're interviewing the offensive coordinator of the Bills, Brian Dable, today. And, I don't know about that. I mean, he's okay, I guess. He's a Nick Saban guy. He doesn't know much about the college system, but, I mean, who knows? A guy I want them to get is Alex Grinch from Oklahoma. I've been saying it all year. Midwest ties, defensive guy, young guy. He'd open up recruiting lanes. But I doubt that Michigan State's even thinking about him right now because they're just too incompetent, probably. But anyways, that's all I have to say. Next, we have Michigan State basketball, kind of in a little bit of a spiral. Went 0-2 this week against Penn State and Michigan. What are your reactions to this week?
It was a big game for Michigan and a big win. Obviously, Isaiah Livers was
Just Michigan State.
What?
Just Michigan State.
What about him?
No. We'll get to Michigan after.
Oh, well, I thought we were talking about the game. Okay. Well, tough week. They went 0-3. Obviously, a couple big quad 1 losses. I can't lose at home to Penn State. I mean, I know Penn State's good, but Pat Chambers. I mean, come on. I think Tillman has been really just awful past even like 2 weeks. It's just Winston's kind of on his own right now. They don't have guys that can step up and take the scoring load off of them. They have, and I think that Penn State game, Patrick Winston was the only scorer in double figures. And teams are really starting to zone in on him. And once you get it out of his hands, they're making guys like Gabe Brown, Aaron Henry, Marcus Bingham, all those guys beat you instead of Patrick Winston. And Penn State, or Michigan State, I think they'll get out of this little wet here. But, they obviously split out of the AP poll, which I know we'll get to, but just a really a bad week and a couple quad 1 losses that are really going to hurt their resume coming up towards March.
We're still a 4 seed, so.
Well, I've been saying it all year. Michigan State, I really don't think they're very good. They haven't beaten anybody all year. They only have 3 quad 1 wins. Michigan's 6. They've had some bad losses throughout the years. I know Mike dismissed a lot of those losses. But, Michigan State really showed their true colors this week. Obviously had the Penn State game. I know Mike was happy about Winston's performance down the stretch in that game. not a ideal performance from him. I don't think I've seen him miss a free. I mean, it wasn't even close on the free throw. So embarrassing performance in that game. And you look at Tillman in that game. He only gets 5 shots. I know the genius Tom Izzo can't get him any open layups anymore. I don't know why.
He's good at so.
Aaron Henry needs to shoot the ball more. He only shot it 6 times in this game. And it's just a culmination of what I've been saying all year. They're not very good. And you go to the Michigan game, and I was thinking, there's no way that Michigan is going to win this game because let's be honest, they peaked. And then they come in here, and Michigan State just laid an egg on the court. They were on the court, laying eggs on the court. Cassius Winston, 5 for 18. Not a good game from him. Tillman, he was all right, but that was pretty much it. For them, Gabe Brown, I know it's Mike's guy. He couldn't shoot anything. He couldn't make any shots. And you look at Michigan in this game, and they're getting shooting and scoring from all over the place. And there's a little bit of balance with Tillman, but for the most part, it's Winston, 18 shots. Winston, 21 shots against Penn State. Not a lot of balance, and I've been saying it all year. Michigan State's not very good, and they showed it this week.
Yeah, I mean, we should have never had the number 1 ranking. I hate that stat. That stat's ridiculous when you bring that stat out because it completely ignores the entirety of our season. Yeah, we were the number 1 team to start the year, and we shouldn't have been. We shouldn't have been in the top 10 with the guys we lost before the season, and with Hauser not being eligible. If he was eligible, we would be in a much better spot. If Langford was healthy, we would be in a much better spot.
There's so many excuses. It's so ridiculous.
I'm not making an excuse. I'm just saying.
It's possible to win at Chrysler, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Actually, I was amazed.
I possible to win at Chrysler. I bought this home game. Which one?
If they lose, you have to say it's impossible to win at Chrysler.
No, actually, that place was a library. You couldn't even hear the fans.
Which one was it Saturday?
What?
Was it a feel-good home game, or was it impossible to win there? Which one was it?
No, it had everything to do with Michigan State. It had nothing to do with Michigan.
Oh.
Nothing to do with Michigan.
My goodness.
Nothing to do with the Michigan fans.
Michigan State's hard.
We are in a rut. Michigan caught us at the perfect time. You couldn't have come at a better time for Michigan to play Michigan State. Michigan got their guy back, and Michigan State, they're not in a good place mentally right now. We can throw, we can throw stuff out all we want, but it's not been the ideal year for Michigan State all throughout the season. Things have not gone right on and off the floor. We haven't been able to win any close games. We won every close game last year. And going to the Penn State game, yes, Winston completely choked. Listen, you can't sugarcoat it. He gagged. I mean, you would have thought you're at a prison jail where they were doing executions. You would have thought the way he choked. But it's not like anybody else was helping him that game. Nobody could shoot Penn State game. And let me just say about Penn State. Penn State's a better team than we are. They have more talent than we are. They have scores everywhere. They have scores, and they're a better defensive team as well. The only thing that holds them back from being a great team is the coach. That's the only thing that holds them back. Lamar Stevens, top 5 player in the Big Ten. They got a big man presence inside, Mike Watkins. So I was happy for them. That was a good win, very good win for Penn State. Cemented their tournament place. As for the Michigan game, it was not shocked to see what happened because Izzo called a team meeting, and what do you say about team meetings? Team meetings mean your team's a mess, and they couldn't shoot at all, which I wasn't surprised at. Cassius had a tough night, which he's been having a lot of tough nights lately. Wasn't surprised about that at all. Michigan, we're gonna get it together. Could be this week. It could be next week. But we have Mr. March. We have Mr. Big Ten, a head coach. And last year we didn't have an overly talented roster. Still made the Final Four. This year it's even less talented than the ones last year. But we will find a way.
Oh my God.
What?
No, you're not getting away with saying that.
What?
How many times have you come on this podcast and talked about how high this team's ceiling is because they have much more talent than last year?
No, okay, fine. Maybe talent was the wrong word to use. Last year, McQuaid was way more consistent than anybody on this team. If you want to say Gabe Brown has a higher ceiling than Matt McQuaid, fine, go ahead. You can say that. But and you could say Marcus Bingham has a higher ceiling than Kenny Goins. But that Kenny Goins shot from the top of the key was unstoppable. No one could stop it. It was consistent and went in. Marcus Bingham can't shoot anything. He couldn't shoot a three from a foot away. It would clank off the back rim. And listen, the starting lineup that Izzo, he's got to change the starting lineup. There's no way you can have three guys in the starting lineup who can't shoot. You can't do it. You can't do it.
Who would you put in there?
You got listen. I would start Arns. The injury history for Kyle Arns isn't good, so I understand Izzo's hesitancy to not play him much. But he's our best shooter, our best catch and shoot shooter on the team. You've got to give him a chance to play more. Listen, Malik Hall, he does all the little things. I understand that, but what happened to him? Because what? I mean, what happened to Malik Hall? That's my question.
He had a cheap game against Seton Hall.
Yeah, he obviously the confidence isn't there for Malik Hall. Played very well against Seton Hall. Seton Hall left him wide open on every shot. He made it. I think teams are guarding him a little bit more, but he's a good defender. One thing to look for later in the season, and this will determine how well we end the season, is Xavier Tillman his wife is having a baby later on this month, and he could miss a couple games, which would be even worse for our season. We'll see what he does. We'll see if he comes back and plays instead of taking that break. We'll see. But if he is on paternity leave, you could see a 2-game losing streak coming up if he doesn't play. Of course, tomorrow's a big game. Got to come out and win tomorrow. Or at least, they don't have to win, but they have to show up tomorrow and play. Because once the goal, it's still to win the Big Ten. That's still the goal, but really, got to set your mind on March. Got to peak at the right time. I know Izzo understands that. And he understands they're in a bad spot right now. And he's going to hopefully change up the lineup a little bit. Maybe start Foster Loyer. Maybe bench Cassius. Do whatever you can to get a spark going. But, again, we'll see. Okay. Michigan goes 1-1 this week. A loss to Ohio State. And a win against Michigan State. Reactions?
This was a very up and down week. I mean, he starts the week off with Ohio State, and it's I know we said this last week. It almost felt like a must-win. Two teams that were kind of reeling, and were struggling a bit. And Michigan came out and laid an egg on their own floor, and they had the Michigan State game up on Saturday, and you start to worry a little bit. And I'm not going to get really too much into the Ohio State game because the Michigan State game was much bigger. And, they get Livers back, and he's an immediate difference maker. I mean, he goes 5 for 10 from the floor, and made bigger shots.
Oh, now you're gonna like Livers?
I never didn't like him. Why not?
Oh, yeah.
At the very beginning, at the very beginning. Okay, you're the one who thinks Eli Brooks is the second coming of Jesus, okay?
Correct.
Eli Brooks went 2 for 10 yet again, and he missed wide open looks all game.
Chris was also the one who said Livers should be benched. So.
Yeah.
You just said bench Cassius, so.
No, listen. That's just a spark. That's all that is.
Oh.
But I thought Xavier Tillman had his best game of the year, or not Xavier Tillman, Xavier Simpson. Sorry. He had his best game of the year. He started off 30 for 30 from deep to start the game in the first half. He distributed the ball well, and I thought he was our best player. And when he sets the tone early, I think the whole team follows. And I think we can all attest to start the game. That was pretty disgusting from both teams. It was 3-3, 6 minutes in. It was gross. And Michigan came out and started hitting some shots. Besides Eli Brooks, I'm not throwing him in there because he didn't make anything. Or Teskey, he was awful. But I think when Simpson really sets the tone early and you have Livers that comes in and gives them some security, which they desperately needed, that's what you get. And I think that's when Michigan is really at their best, when they're hitting some outside shots. And I loved what Juwan Howard did. They talked about it in the pregame. They showed what Indiana did. The catches, and they basically, they hedged him pretty high off the screen and took him away from getting the ball back. And I thought Michigan came out and did that and really took him out of his game for a bit. And even Cassius said himself, he really had to work for every shot that he was getting, and the results showed. I mean, I know he put up 20 points. He was only 5 of 18. So I really liked the defensive philosophy they had. They got a little lucky. Michigan State missed some shots. But I think the game plan and the readiness, along with Simpson playing well and Livers being back, really just kind of culminated into a big win and a much-needed win over Michigan State right now. And I thought that was one of their best games of the year.
The Ohio State game, you can't win if you can't score. So it really, and I was just infuriated after this game, an embarrassing performance on your home floor in a game that felt like a must-win, and absolutely awful performance from Wagner. Could shoot, Brooks could shoot, Teskey could shoot. The 3 of your main scorers right there all couldn't shoot. You needed to make shots, and they didn't. So that was an embarrassing performance. I'm still angry about that game, and it wasn't. I mean, there was a bad call at the end on Simpson, but that shouldn't have been at that point. So that shouldn't have mattered. So it really a terrible performance against Ohio State, inexcusable. But they made up for it by proving to everybody they own the state of Michigan completely. Great performance. They get Livers back. They are a completely different team without him. They've proven that all year. Nice performance from him, 5 for 10 from the field. I know Alex just despises Livers.
Yeah, I hate him. So that's why I said having him back makes a big difference. Can we talk about how much you love Eli Brooks? Do you want to go into him a little bit more?
Well, hold on. I'll get to that. Brooks, despite not a great shooting day, I did a nice job, got some rebounds, 9 rebounds.
Yep.
Teskey was a little off again, but he got 8 rebounds. He did what he needed to do. And Simpson, the last 2 games, he shot the ball pretty well from behind the arc, 50%. 8 assists in this game. Nice game from Simpson. But I am a little concerned. Before the Ohio State game, only one other coach, I can't remember who it was, might have been Pat Chambers, was the only other coach, it was Pat Chambers, to figure out that if you make Simpson shoot, Michigan is very inefficient. And this week, both Chris Holtman and Tom Izzo made Simpson shoot the ball. And he made shots this week, but I'm a little concerned on if he can continue that if coaches continue to make him shoot. So if he can, I mean, Michigan's ceiling is through the roof, but I mean, I don't think he can. And I think Juwan Howard's got to make an adjustment. They got to find ways to get other guys shots. Wagner only got 5 shots in this game. you got kids taking 13 shots. You're not going to win a lot of games. And I mean, he was efficient in this game, but especially from behind the arc. But you got to get other guys better looks, especially moving forward. They got a couple winnable games coming up. So yeah, that's the biggest adjustment they need to make. But nice performance against MSU, little brother. But it's still a lot to work on.
Listen, I don't take much into the Ohio State game. They were looking forward to Michigan State. Nothing to say there. I mean, didn't play well, both teams. Ohio State made the winning plays. It's okay to get outcoached by Chris Holtmann. It happens time to time. Against Michigan State, I mean, what did Michigan State shoot 20% from the field in the first half? I mean, you should win that game. You should win that game by 45. Listen, I give them credit. They made timely shots. Michigan did. They got some big rebounds. It's not something they've been able to do against Michigan State. And listen, you just got to tip your cap. When Simpson's hitting threes, listen, you'll take that. Any coach will take that. And he made the threes. You got to give him credit for it. Played well. Livers played really well. Just what it tells me is, how good would we be with Josh Langford? I'm joking. I think Michigan's in a pretty good spot right now. They've got a very easy schedule coming up. That game at Evanston's going to be tough. Could go either way. That one, toss up. But I mean, if Michigan can just all they have to do is focus on the defensive end, and if they can make shots, they'll be fine. They'll win the games they're supposed to win. And so listen, they're a decently talented team, top 7 in the Big Ten. They should definitely beat, besides the top 3 or 4, they should beat everybody at their home place, and then they should win a couple games on the road. I think coaching really holds them down. I think they'd be a top 4 or 5 talented team if they didn't have that. I don't even know what to call him, that head coach. He's not a human being. He doesn't know what he's doing. The only thing he knows how to do is pay players.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's why he shut down Cassius Winston, made a conscious effort to get the ball out of his hands.
Okay. Listen. Cassius had a bad night. Okay.
Well, he got to work for every shot that he got.
Michigan played the same defense against Cassius Winston the past 2 years. The exact same defense. They changed nothing. They changed nothing.
They played the same defense the last 2 games.
Against Michigan State earlier in the year, they played the same thing. They played the exact same defense. They hedged the big man, tried to get the ball out of his hands. Last year, they did the same thing 3 times. It didn't work last year. He had a bad game this year. First bad game in 6 games against Michigan. If he was playing, and right now he's not playing well in general, but if he was playing like the Cassius Winston of early January of last year, then he can beat those type of defenses, but he's not playing very well right now. So, I mean, every defense does that. The tape is out there to beat Cassius Winston. You got to do what Michigan did, and you got to hope that he's missing shots. And if you can do that, you can beat Michigan State easily, because they don't have that second guy. If you want to count Tillman, but Tillman's not a great post player. He's great at getting layup opportunities, but he's not great at finishing them, as we know. And Michigan State, early in the Big Ten season, they were hitting the 3, and right now they're not. So it'll start falling. So Michigan, I mean, you got to give them credit. I think it's 50-50. You got to give Michigan credit for the win, but you also got to look at the way Michigan State played. If they showed any pulse at all, they would have won that game. All right. Looking at the standings right now and the schedules going down, or going on to the rest of the year, who will win the Big Ten regular season?
I think that's a tough call. I mean, the Big Ten is one of the most unpredictable conferences in college basketball right now. I don't want to pick Maryland, and I don't think that. I'm gonna go with Penn State. I'm gonna go on a list. I'm gonna go with Penn State.
All right.
I'm serious. They've proven they can win some big games, and I mean, their schedule isn't terrible coming out of the next couple of games. I mean, they have to play at Purdue. But, I mean, they're home against Illinois, they're home against Michigan State, they're home against Rutgers. They're away at Iowa, which will be a little tough, but I think they can. I think they have a somewhat favorable schedule to finish out the year.
Yeah, the easy answer here is Maryland. You look at their schedule; they don't play one ranked team the rest of the season. I think they're gonna very easily win this conference by a couple of games. They've proven a lot. Yeah, I know. They've proven a lot. They've won some big games over the last week or so. Rutgers, at Illinois, that proved a lot. They beat Iowa. They won at Indiana. This big wins for Maryland, and they're playing great basketball right now. I think Maryland wins with relative ease.
Well, look at the standings. Maryland's sitting on top at 9-3, definitely in position. They, like you said, they don't play a ranked team at the end of the year, but they do have several tough road games, including at Rutgers, at Michigan State, at Ohio State. It's going to be tough for them to close this thing out. I mean, definitely the most talented team in the Big Ten, top to bottom. They don't have – I don't think they have one great player, but they have five or six really, really good players. If you want to say Jalen Smith's a great player, maybe. But just top to bottom, they're just stacked. I think they're gonna lose to Michigan State. I think they're gonna lose to Ohio State. No, they do have. They only have two. They have 3 home games left, 4 road games. I'm gonna have to tend to agree with Alex on this one because listen, Penn State is the second most talented team in the Big Ten, top behind Maryland, and I think their schedule is a lot easier. To be honest, and they're 2 games back, 1 game back. Excuse me. I know. Iowa doesn't play defense. They've already shown with their collapse against Purdue that they're just not good enough. And watch out for Purdue, too. Purdue's only 3 games out, and they always find a way to win the Big Ten. So I'm going to go with Penn State as well. All right. Jesus. Who's the best team in the Big East?
I'm not really sure who made this, but it was Mike.
No.
I don't believe that. I don't like any of the Big East teams, but the one I do have a little more respect for right now is Villanova, and I know they just lost. I think I like Jay Wright a lot, and I trust them more when it matters. So I like that.
Really?
Yeah. I don't care if they just lost.
They've lost 3 games in a row.
Yeah, so is Michigan State. What's your point?
Michigan State sucks.
Okay.
We're better than Villanova, that's for sure. Doesn't take much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, put Villanova in the Big Ten. They might have 1 or 2 wins.
Yeah.
You put any Big East team in the Big Ten, they might have 1 or 2 wins.
Well, I can really make an argument for most of these teams here in the Big East. Lots of great
DePaul
teams. Yeah, got DePaul. They have a good out-of-conference resume. They've had a tough stretch here over the last 2 games. Lost 6 in a row. But, good team. St. John's had some good wins. Georgetown, Dallas' team, they have some good wins. Xavier's tournament team. Providence is playing good basketball. Butler got a big. I may have thought about picking Butler if they lost. They got blown out yesterday by Marquette, who's also playing very well. Obviously, Villanova, you trust them, like Alex said. Creighton had some great wins, but got to go with Seton Hall. 3-game lead in conference.
Such
right
a
now.
dumb question. It's such a dumb question. You got a team with a 3-game lead, and we're asking who's the best team in the Big East.
3-game lead. Well, they do have a tough schedule coming up, so they are not alone.
Really tough schedule, huh?
Yeah, they play Creighton, and they're at Dunk, which is the toughest place to play in college basketball. Butler, they're at Marquette. They play Villanova, and they play Creighton again. Tough schedule.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Mike.
Well, it's Seton Hall, talent-wise. They're the only Big East team that really has talent, to be honest with you. All these other Big East teams are your typical Big East teams. They got their one big white guy, their one good guard, and the rest of the team's not very good. So it's definitely.
So what you're telling me is the coaches must be really, really good to carry these non-talented teams to good rankings.
Well, they're all playing each other, so I mean they're bound to win some games. I think I like Coach McBuckets and Creighton. I think they're the second best team. I think they're kind of like Iowa. You know, they don't play a lot of defense. Really focused on the offense. Can't trust Marquette. No way. Can't trust that choker. Listen, he makes Cassius Winston look like Michael Jordan at the end of games. Listen, the Big East is going to get 5 teams in the tournament. It's going to be an okay year for them. But really, nothing big is going to happen.
Mike, Xavier is basically a lock with the way they've been playing.
Really?
They are. Yes.
Oh, okay.
They play really well.
Chris was the one. What'd you say? They're going to get all 10 teams in? 6 is their cap. No way they get more than 6.
Oh, I disagree.
Really?
Yeah, Georgetown has a good shot.
10 lost Georgetown?
Yeah, I think they'll be on 11th Providence is getting in there.
Yeah, Providence is
with a loss to Northwestern.
Oh, they have some worse losses than that.
College of Charleston.
Well, let's go look at Providence's great losses this year. They had a nice month in November, a nice 3-game stretch. They lost to Penn, Long Beach State, and Charleston.
That alone should exclude you from the tournament.
Yeah,
even if they win the Big East tournament, they should still be excluded.
Yeah, actually, Mike, this is what I have actually happening. I have 8 teams getting into the Big East. If you look here,
really?
I got the 6 obvious ones, Georgetown sneaking in, and Providence winning the Big East tournament.
Okay. All right, then. We had a great rivalry performance. Really must-see TV. Duke, North Carolina. Duke found a way to win the game. What are your reactions about this game?
Well, I think this is just a very good representation of how North Carolina season has gone. They came out and played their best game of the season. At home, Roy upset too. And I thought they really played well in the first half and all the way until about 4 minutes left in the second half when they decided to gift the game to Duke. They only got a 99% chance to win the game statistically. Coley played great, 24 points, 11 rebounds. And Duke just, obviously the talent that Duke has compared to North Carolina is not even matched. And then it came down to Trey Jones, and he threw the most perfect intentional miss I've ever seen. Hit a miraculous shot to send it to overtime. And again, went down to the wires. And then North Carolina got caught watching the ball. Wendell Moore tipped it in. And that was the game, I thought. But overall, I thought that was North Carolina's best game of the year, and they still lost at home. So I think that's just how their season has gone. And, yeah, you got to look forward to, the CBI if they even make that, because this is just a terrible season for North Carolina.
Yeah, it was really an embarrassing game for both teams. Obviously for Duke, for only beating North Carolina by 2 points. That's obvious why that's an embarrassing game for them. Coach K, always, every single game he's out-coached. They play in North Carolina. He gets out-coached by Roy Williams. And for North Carolina, this is embarrassing. Well, Mike, as we know, Jim Larrañaga is even a better coach than Coach K.
Listen, Roy is like Mark Turgeon, only a little better. Only slightly better.
Well, anyways, and then obviously embarrassing for North Carolina for blowing this game. I don't know how in the world they lost this game. They were up like 10 with like 2 minutes left. I'm like, all right, this is over.
That's Roy Boy for you right
10
there.
minutes later, and Duke's down by 2 with like 6 seconds left. I'm like, what is going on? An embarrassing performance for Duke and North Carolina. Bad look for the ACC as a whole. Really, it's been a terrible year for that conference. So embarrassing for both teams.
Well, according to you, it's the top teams in your conference that make a conference. They have 3 top 10 teams. So
yeah, and also 3 tournament teams.
No, they got 4. They got Virginia Tech.
Calm down.
Well, yeah, you know what they say. In a big rivalry game, throw out the records. They don't matter. Duke playing on the road, tough environment. And the ACC is a joke. There's not really a lot of good home environments in the ACC. So Duke wasn't really ready for this game. Credit to them. They came back at the end. Credit to Roy Boy for choking that game away. Classic Roy Boy choke there. And listen, Chris talked about earlier in the year about how North Carolina was somehow going to pull something out of their sock and find a way to make the tournament. Not looking too good for you, Chris.
Well, I can still win the ACC tournament.
Yeah, that's a long shot. They're going to have to win 5 games in a row, 5 days in a row. It's going to be tough for them, no doubt.
You'll see. That's my early pick to win the ACC tournament.
Yeah, well, that's why you're not in first place anymore.
Yeah. I'm with Chris for a second. How the hell did North Carolina lose this game? Yeah, exactly. Still for like 15 with like 4 minutes left. How do you lose this game?
It's because North Carolina shot 55% from the free throw line all game long. Left way too many points on the board. They should have won this game by a million just on free throws alone. Couldn't do it. Listen, Roy's got some okay talent there. It's not great. It's bubble level talent. It's bubble level talent. They should be a million times better than what they are right now. Even without Cole Anthony, and he came back and played well, 24 points. But they got Garrison Brooks. They got a couple good freshmen. They should be way better than they are. And they put it together for 35 minutes, and then they found a way to choke. Then they put it together for 3 minutes in overtime, and then they choked it again. Listen, Blue Bloods find a way to win games. They find ways to win in crazy ways. Yeah, well, Duke's more of a blue blood, so well, according to ESPN, they're way more of a blue blood.
That's ACC ESPN.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not really quite much what they said.
But you just see the blue blood teams just find ways to pull out wins out of nowhere. You saw it with Kentucky and Evansville. Oh wait, not Kentucky and Evansville. Duke and Stephen F. Austin. Oh, never mind. But anyways.
Yeah, like when Seton Hall pulled up that game against St. John's earlier in the year.
No, it was more like when Indiana pulled that game off against UConn earlier.
Those are 2 blue bloods too.
Oh yeah, of course. Anyway, good game. ACC looking great. 3 top 10 teams. Okay. Who's the best coach in each Power 6, Power 5? Let me rewrite that. Power 5. Power 5 conference. And we'll also add the Big East as well.
Pac-12.
No, it's Power 5 plus Big East, because Big East isn't a Power 5 conference.
Plus Pac-12.
Okay.
We have to throw in the Big East.
Yeah, we're going to substitute out the Big East for the American.
Okay. Pac-12, let's go.
All right, who's the best team in the Pac-12? Or the best coach? Best coach.
Best coach in the Pac-12?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that pretty obvious? I'm going to go to Dana Altman. I mean, they're the only team that's been somewhat consistent in the Pac-12.
Yeah, very obvious pick here. It's Dana Altman, but I'll tell you what. There are some coaches who are creeping up on him. Let me just pull this up here. Mark Fox has the number 2. He is the, if you guys don't know, he is the coach of Cal. They're having a nice year. So he's number 2 for me, but Dana Altman number 1.
Well, the Pac-12 has 0 good coaches. I want to refuse.
Dana Altman's a good coach.
No, he's not a good coach. He's been everywhere, and he's really not one crap, to be honest with you. Had one of the most talented teams last year and barely made the tournament. And they're falling apart this year, so they might miss the tournament, the way they're playing right now. So, listen, I got to go with Mick Cronin. As much as I don't like Mick Cronin, he's the best. Listen, he's the best coach in the Pac-12 right now.
No, next conference.
Listen, let me explain myself.
No, you're not allowed to explain something that ridiculous.
Mick Cronin has won infinitely more than Dana Altman's ever won. And I just like the way his teams play. Listen, they may choke, but listen, he came from a blue blood conference to a conference that stinks. And listen, he's winning some tough games. He got a big win the other night. I got to go with Mick Cronin. It's not even close, to be honest with you. All right, Big 12.
Oh, Chris is going to love my SEC pick then.
Big 12, okay.
Big 12, you guys know I love Lon Kruger on this podcast. Not going to. I don't want to say Bill Self because he doesn't win anything. They never win. They always are like a number 1 seed. They always lose in the Sweet 16 every year. But I'm going to have to go with Bill Self. As much as I love Scott Drew, I want to see him do it for a couple more years before I give it to him. So I'll give it to Bill Self just because of kind of, not the legacy, but I guess like the tenure that he's been there and how successful they've been.
Yeah, no competition there. It goes to Chris Beard, clearly the best coach in the Big 12, bringing that team to the championship game last year and having a decent season again. Chris Beard, no competition.
The disrespect towards Bob Huggins is unbelievable. I can't believe it. We have a Hall of Fame coach at the University of West Virginia. He made it to a Final Four in 2010. Listen, he's been doing it forever. He took over just a disaster of a program after Beeline left, and he turned that thing around into a powerhouse. They run that Press Virginia, Press Zone, and listen, it's not even close. Listen, I think Bill Self's okay. I think he's gotten a lot better the past couple of years at not choking as bad. But listen, Bob Huggins, got to go with Hugs. It's not even close. Although that Oklahoma State coach is getting up there.
You were calling for his job halfway through the season.
We don't talk about that. Okay. The SEC.
Yeah, SEC. I'm going to get some slander from Chris on this one. I know the organization is Coach Cal. No, what Eric Musselman did at Nevada, oh my God. Unbelievable. I'm going to go with Eric Musselman.
You know how much talent they have on their team to be 16-7?
At Arkansas?
16-7.
Yeah, give me him. He had
Nevada conference.
He brought Nevada out of nothing, and he brought him to the Elite Eight. And beat your boy Mick Cronin on the way.
This is a conference full of just some great coaches.
Bruce Pearl, that's worse than that.
No, I'm not picking Bruce Pearl. I'm not doing that. I can't do that with his checkered history.
Wow.
Will Wade, he's a cheater as well. can't pick Coach Cal, obviously. Mike White, Mr. Underachiever. I would have picked Rick Barnes last year, but he is not having he's not having a good year. You got Tom Crean. I know that's Luke's guy. Really, really good coach. Obviously, Kermit Davis at Ole Miss.
Just going to name off every coach?
But, no, there's an obvious pick here, and I'm sure you guys aren't going to pick him. I'm going to go with Buzz Williams at Texas A&M. What? Really, a phenomenal basketball coach. I had a nice run for Virginia Tech, and is going to turn that Texas A&M program around. They're going to be contending in a couple of years. Great basketball coach. Give me Buzz Williams.
What did you ever want?
I don't know, bro. He's won some games in the ACC. I'm sure he's won a couple tournament games. He's a great coach.
Yeah, this is an easy one for me. Give me Jerry Stackhouse of Vanderbilt. No, I'm joking. He's one of my most hated types of coaches out there. But listen, you got Frank Martin, South Carolina. I really like the way his teams play. Always in it, never give up. Tom Crean, I think Tom Crean's turned that program around. He's getting up there. He's in the top 5, definitely. But listen, I got to go with Bruce Pearl. Bruce Pearl brought an Auburn program that hasn't done anything to the tournament 2 straight years, to a Final Four last year. It's the obvious answer. I don't care if he cheated. Doesn't really matter to me. Give me Bruce Pearl by a mile. All right. Let's move. Let's go to the American.
The ACC.
No, American.
No. The ACC. Gee, Tony Bennett. Okay. Listen, you guys, you can't say yes to them if they just won a title. You always think it's the best defense in the country, and they don't get the recruiting that UNC and Duke have. They get their share of recruits. That narrative is false. They get their share of recruits. They do not get the top 5-star prospects that Duke gets. Well, they got Kyle Guy. He's the 5-star recruit. Okay, he was one. Then their starting center was Jack Schultz.
It's a fair point.
Run around and hit screens. Okay. Let's see. There's a lot of bad coaches in the ACC. Obviously, Coach K. But, there's some good ones, too. Jim Christian, good coach. Jim Larinaga, great coach. Jim Boeheim, obviously a great coach. But
ridiculous.
I got to get to Leonard Hamilton here. Really did a nice job with that Florida State program. Really no tradition at that program. And he's made them in a contender. So, Leonard Hamilton.
I like Leonard Hamilton. I mean, they find ways to lose games they're not supposed to in the tournament, even though they get pretty far. But I think that the choice is pretty obvious. Kevin Keats at NC State. I mean, the record against his rivals is just unbelievable. What are they like? What is he like? 1-8 versus Roy Williams? Hasn't beaten Coach K. It's like the ultimate dream of an NC State coach. Is what he is. He gets 0 recruits in there, so it's perfect. It's a perfect fit for NC State. But in all seriousness, listen, Mike Young at Virginia Tech, he's slowly rising up there. Did a great job at Wofford. Beat Miles Powell and the great Kevin Willard in the tournament last year. So he's up there. But, yeah, I guess I got to go with Coach Bennett as well. Not because of how good of a coach he is, but because his father coached at Wisconsin. All right. American.
Well, for Big E. There's a lot of good coaches in the American. All right, okay. Big E, let's go. Big E. Can I pick some? No. You know what? The only coach that I sort of like is Big E is Jay Wright. He runs the program. He's a nice, good guy. I'll go with him. I don't like any of the Yeah, the answer is Jay Wright. But you look at this, Kevin Willard's the second best coach in the country.
How do you not pick Ed Cooley? Come on now.
Oh, I'm going to go through all these coaches and say how great they are.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, Seton Hall, Kevin Willard is the second best coach in the nation. Just need to see a little bit more from him in March. Once he wins the national championship this year, he'll be number one. We got Coach McBucket. I've liked him for a while. Great teacher of offense. Steve Wojciechowski, he sucks. He's awful. The only bad coach in this conference.
Really?
Ed Cooley. I mean, what a phenomenal coach Ed Cooley is. Just such a great recruiter and a great coach. One of the best coaches in the country. Laval Jordan, Rob Butler, out of not a good spot to a very good team this year. Nice coach. Travis Steele, he's okay. We got Patrick Ewing. I mean, what a coach Patrick Ewing is. Despite all the adversity this team has faced all season, he has led his team to a pretty nice season. Mike Anderson, St. John's is not supposed to be 13-11. They're having a much better season than they should be. Good coach. And obviously, Dave Leitao. His tenure at the Fall is one for the ages. Great basketball coach.
Well, let's see. We got maybe one or two decent coaches. Listen, Jay Wright, he pulled Mark D'Antonio. Okay, let's be honest. He had a good 3-year stretch. He's never going to get back there. I think we all know that.
Yeah, I didn't see Mark D'Antonio winning national championship.
Yeah, well, he did make a Final Four in football, which is, impossible to do. And he won 3 Big Ten championships. So I can't say Jay Wright because he's fallen off. Kevin Willard, he won one tournament game in full 5 years? No way I could pick him. I guess I gotta listen. I gotta go with Travis Steele because he coached under Chris Mack, and Chris Mack made a couple tournaments, so he's got experience. All right, Big Ten.
There's a lot of good coaches. I'm just going to say this right off the bat, Chris, if you pick Brandon McCaffrey, I'm not going to leave. That'd be horrible. You got to love Steve Fickle, Greg Gard, Matt Painter, your boy Casino over at Minnesota. I don't know how much you like him. But I think it would be kind of a shame if I didn't say Tom Izzo, and the resume speaks for itself. And it's a pretty clear answer. And Mark Surgeon is definitely the worst coach in that conference by a mile.
Yeah, you go through some of these coaches here. You got Archie Miller, awful coach.
Oh, great coach.
Richard Pitino. I really like Richard Pitino. Good coach. Steve Fickle, good coach. Underwood, good coach. If this was 3 years from now, it would be Fred Hoiberg because he probably is the best coach in this conference. But I cannot pick him.
Okay, Mr. Choke.
They're 7-16. I gotta go with Fran McCaffrey. Really, phenomenal basketball coach, has been for a long time. Great teacher of offense.
What did they won?
A national championship next year.
I'm saying, what did they won right now?
Well, I'm talking about next year.
Okay. You got your crystal ball sitting on your table as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to do what Chris did with the Big East and go through every team. Maryland, listen. We can dog him, Coach Turgeon, all we want, but he is a very good recruiter. He may not be a great coach, but he gets the talent in there. And in college basketball, recruiting is about 80% of the game, 70 to 80%. Coaching's 30%. So that's why he's okay. I think Pat Chambers, I think he's a good coach. I think he's a solid coach. it's hard to win at Penn State. There's no doubt about it. One tournament since 2010. Maybe you could claim that's his fault, but listen, he's a Philly guy. He gets the Philly kids in there, and he's got a good team this year. We'll see. I'm eager to see how Penn State will perform in the tournament. I think they can make it to the Sweet 16. Brad Underwood, the resume speaks for itself. He's done very good things. Fran McCaffrey, I think he's a very good offensive coach. His team, can't deny how good offensively his teams are. The problem is they always collapse at the end of the season, and I think we just saw the start of it with the just implosion at Purdue. What was it, last week? So that was embarrassing. I think the best X's and O's coach in the Big Ten is Steve Pikiell, and I don't think it's close. Listen, Rutgers, they have some talent, but not a lot. And he's done an incredible job with that team. They're tournament bound. They had an incredible comeback last night against a good Northwestern team. This Northwestern team would win the Big East. I'm just saying that right now. The amount of talent they have, it's through the roof. A lot of young talent. Tom Izzo, I could go on about Tom Izzo, a very good coach. Matt Painter, probably the most consistent coach in the Big Ten. His teams always find a way to come either first or second in the Big Ten. I mean, Chris was dogging on them a lot earlier. And you look up, and all of a sudden, they're 7-6, 3 games out. And listen, if a couple bounces roll their way, they could win the title. I mean, you never know. Oh, God. Oh, my goodness. Greg Gard. This man is a great coach. He is unbelievable. He's a great coach. He's got a big head. That means he's got a lot of basketball knowledge in there. He's done a very nice job. Listen, Richard Pitino, he turns into a potato when he plays elite coaches, but he's a decent coach against not great coaches. That's why his team's 6-7 in conference, and that's why he went 0-2 versus Tom Izzo. Listen, Chris Holman, elite coach. I think we can all concede that. Archie Miller, good coach. He's slowly building Indiana up. I think that they're going to make the tournament this year, and next year is going to be their big year. Juwan Howard, I think he's probably the worst coach in the Big Ten as of right now. Him, Pitino are close. I got to go with Juwan there. The great Fred Hoiberg, who won nothing at Iowa State. And Chris Collins, I think he's a top 5 X's and O's coach in the Big Ten. But listen, we're asking who's the best coach in the Big Ten. I got to go with Steve Pikiell. All right. Let's go to the picks. First game, or actually, if we look up here, Mike went 14-10, and he overtook Chris, who had a just awful week, going 10-14. Alex went 14-10. He's 2 games back of me now, and Luke disappeared. We don't know where he is. Okay. Now on to the picks. Florida State at Duke, which is on tonight.
I love what Tyler Hamilton's doing, and I think Duke's going to be a little out of that emotional winning in South Carolina. So I think Florida State. Yeah, I'm going to take Florida State as well. Like Alex said, emotional game just 2 days ago. Take them home, play a top 10 team. I'll take Florida State.
Yeah, the ACC is out of their mind with these stupid Monday games. 2 days. I mean, that's ridiculous. That is absurd. ACC SBN should be ashamed of themselves for this game. This is like Thursday Night Football. You got to go with the home team. I'm taking Duke. All right. Baylor at Texas.
Texas is not a good basketball team, so I'll go with Baylor. up, Baylor owns the state. Texas is about, 6th or 7th in the state of Texas. So I'm going to take Baylor.
Yeah, I'm going to keep going with Shaka. Give me Texas.
That's why I put this game on here.
All right. Penn State at Purdue. This is a very, very intriguing game.
Well, last time I agreed with Mike that it was impossible to win there, and I'm going to go with that theory again. Give me Purdue.
Yeah, Purdue's playing really well right now. I can't really pick against them until they lose. I'll take them at home.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with Purdue. I think they're going to find a way to come in second for the Big Ten Championship. All right. We got an A-10 matchup here between Rhode Island and Dayton.
A sneaky good URI team. They're playing well, but this game's at Dayton, so I'm not to pick them. I don't know on the road.
Listen, URI is a really, really, really good team. Lost to the tournament, really. But yeah, they're gonna play at URI later in the season. But this game is at Dayton. I'll take Dayton.
Yeah, listen, I don't care about the stupid conference. Give me Dayton. All right, Michigan State at Illinois.
This is a huge game for Michigan State. For a really tough stretch. Illinois also not on their best stretch of the season, and I'm gonna go on a limb here. I'll go with Izzo and Spartans.
Yeah, I really think, I do think Michigan State will find a way to turn it around and start playing a little bit better. But I can't pick them in this game on the road at Illinois. I'll take Illinois.
Yeah, I mean, if the change is going to come, it's going to be tough to implement it on a Tuesday night against Illinois. You just played on Saturday. It's a tough stretch of games for Michigan State, no doubt. I'm going to take Illinois. I think, they're not playing great either. I wouldn't be shocked if Michigan State won. But I like Illinois' talent level. I think they're probably third in the Big Ten talent-wise. Maybe you can argue first with the amount of talent they have. But okay. Creighton at Seton Hall.
Well, it's a Big East game, so I don't really care. But I'll take Seton Hall because Creighton doesn't play a lick of defense.
Tell you what, if you like offense, watch this game. I am so excited for this game. These two teams are so explosive. But I'll take Seton Hawks there at home.
I agree. Give me Seton Hall. All right. Michigan at Northwestern.
Really tough pick here, but something tells me I'm going to have to go with Michigan. Tough game, though.
Ooh, listen.
Michigan.
Oh, go ahead.
Michigan close.
Yeah, I'm expecting overtime. I'm expecting a Northwestern team who played Rutgers very tough to come out swinging. And I think Chris Collins will put Juwan Howard into a body bag in this game, coaching-wise. But I think Michigan's talent will win out. I'm taking Michigan. Okay, Rutgers at Ohio State.
Quite those guys playing this year. But I was impressed with Ohio State's win against Wisconsin. So,
they lost to Wisconsin.
Yeah, never mind. I got that confused. Give me Rutgers on the road. I think they could use this big road game.
Yeah, Rutgers is awful on the road. I'll take Ohio State.
Yeah, I'll also take Ohio State. All right, Kansas at West Virginia.
Give me West Virginia. I don't think Bill Self cannot win in that building.
Really?
Well, not
if you do want to watch this game, you can catch this one on ESPN Plus. I'm going to take Kansas because I'm so down on West Virginia.
Yeah, country roads. Give me West Virginia. Bobby Huggins, let's go. All right. Xavier at Butler, ridiculous game.
Yeah, who cares? I don't buy Xavier. I think they're just a little hot right now, but I don't buy them. It's Butler.
Oh, but you buy Butler. You like Butler, Alex. That's one of your teams.
I don't like them. I just don't.
You pick them every time they're on here.
every time a Big East game comes up, I say, who cares?
No, you always say Butler or Georgetown. No matter who's playing. It could be.
Yeah, you're gonna tell me you're gonna pick Xavier on the road.
No, I'm picking Butler.
Okay,
but
so, no.
It could be Providence at St. John's. You would be like, oh, I'm picking Georgetown in this game. Or I'm picking Butler.
No.
I'm picking Butler. Why?
Well, I was thinking about taking Xavier, and then I realized that if Xavier wins this game, they might be in the conversation for a tournament bid. So after
the conversation, they're in everybody's bracket.
So with that thought, I'm going to take Butler. Xavier's not a tournament team.
Bracket. They're in everybody's bracket but yours.
Not a tournament team. Okay. Marquette at Villanova.
Again, who cares? I expect Marcus Howard to go 2 for 18 from the field in this game, so I'll take Villanova at home.
Yeah, Villanova needs to bounce back. I'll take them at home.
Yeah, another game where I could fall asleep to. Give me Villanova.
Unbelievable the disrespect you guys give to this conference.
Well, half the picks are Big East picks on this thing. It's ridiculous.
It's a ranked matchup.
Okay, why'd you have Xavier and Butler on here then?
Xavier's been playing well. They've been winning big road games.
That's ridiculous. All right. Iowa at Indiana.
Tough place to play. Assembly Hall's going to be back to what it used to be, but I really don't want to pick Iowa, but I'm going to go with Iowa.
Yeah, the Indiana collapse has begun. I'm taking Iowa.
Yeah, no way I'm taking... Are you kidding me? No way I'm taking Iowa in this situation. First of all, it's at Assembly Hall, which it's a tough place to play, no doubt about it. The only teams that can win there is Purdue. That's the only team that can win there. And listen, I think Archie Miller's a better coach. I'm going out on a limb here, but I think he's the better coach. Indiana's physical, very physical. And if they can make shots, listen, they are playing for their tournament lives, Indiana. I think they will win this game soundly because Iowa is a terrible road team. All right, Purdue at Ohio State.
I'm going to go with Ohio State. I think they can get a big home win here against a decent Purdue team.
I'll take Ohio State because they're at home.
I'm going to take Purdue because they're going to make a run at the title.
I'm going to take Purdue because Michigan State lost to them.
Well, I think we've lost to every team in the Big Ten nowadays, so I don't think it matters. All right, Wisconsin at Nebraska.
A really tough game, but go with
Wisconsin.
Yeah, I agree. Give me Wisconsin. Great guard. All right, another ridiculous game. Colorado at Oregon.
Two ranked teams.
Colorado's ranked.
Yes?
Yeah, throw the AP poll in the garbage. That's ridiculous. They've lost to some terrible opponents this year.
They're ranked number 16. They're ranked higher than Oregon.
Well, yeah, Oregon's worse. Who they lose? They lost to Wayne Tinkle and Oregon State? Please. Guess who else lost to Oregon State? Colorado. What a joke. What a joke of a conference.
What's the game?
Colorado at Oregon.
Who cares?
will go out and just, I'm not saying Colorado's a top-tier team, but that Oregon can beat anybody on any night. Anybody. So I'm going to take Oregon.
Yeah, if ESPN didn't give me another reason not to watch the Pac-12, put Bill Walton on the game. Give me a break. I'm so glad he's out there and not torturing me in the Big Ten. But I'm taking Oregon because Colorado stinks. All right. West Virginia at Baylor.
I'm going to go with Baylor. I just don't think the press Virginia is going to work against Baylor.
Yeah, I'll take Baylor because they're at home.
Well, listen, this game's getting around to the wire. Baylor would have just come off a big loss to Shaka Smart in Texas. So this is a very important game for both teams. West Virginia, they lost to somebody. Who did they lose to? I can't remember. Who did they lose to?
They lost to Oklahoma.
Oh yeah, Oklahoma. Oklahoma's a good team, so nothing to be ashamed of there. But I'm taking Baylor. All right, Louisville at Clemson.
Wait, who was the first team? I didn't hear you.
Louisville.
At Clemson?
Yep.
Clemson has some ridiculous wins this year. So this will be one of my upsets. I'm going to go with Clemson.
Louisville.
Well, listen, Louisville, they've been playing cupcakes. Let's be honest. They don't play anybody in that conference. And the good teams they have played, they lost to. A fluke win against Duke. We don't talk about that game. I'm taking Louisville because the ACC is a joke. All right. Illinois at Rutgers.
Rutgers is 16-0 at the RAC, so it's the best place to play a home game of college basketball. Give me Rutgers.
Rutgers, because they're at home.
Yeah, nobody's winning at the RAC. Give me Rutgers. All right, game day. Coming to East Lansing next week. Maryland at Michigan State.
Mark Jordan will be at home, and Tom Izzo is going to be running laps around him. Give me a spark.
Yeah, I would be surprised if Maryland won this game, but I don't know. I feel like we need to come back down to earth at some point. I'll take Michigan State.
Yeah, I mean, if Maryland wins this game, I'll be all on board. I would be 100% on the Turge train. But until he wins that game, I'm not. I'm taking Michigan State. All right, a ridiculous game. Seton Hall at Providence.
I don't know why this is a game. Seton Hall because Providence is terrible.
That's a great.
Okay, so last week, when we got on here last week, and I had Creighton at Providence on here, and you guys yelled at me again, and I took Providence, and I was laughed at and shamed publicly on this podcast. And Providence won handily.
Stop playing big, though.
Who'd you pick? Who did you pick?
Yeah, give me the Flyers.
And who did Providence just lose to the other night?
Xavier.
Yeah, they're ridiculous.
On the road.
Doesn't matter.
Providence.
All right, yeah, give me Seton Hall in a blowout. All right, Colorado at Oregon State.
Colorado, Oregon State. Well, I just said earlier that I didn't trust Colorado on the road, and I'd be pretty hypocritical if I picked them. I'll go with Oregon State.
Yeah, build the dam. Give me Oregon State. Wayne Tinkle, he's a top 5 coach in the Pac-12, and that just shows how terrible that conference is.
I'm going to take Colorado because they'll win this game and somehow stay ranked, just to make Mike mad.
Oh, is that the only reason why you picked them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good logic.
All right, Iowa at Minnesota. We got the Floyd of Rosedale on the hardwood here.
What was the game? I didn't hear you.
Iowa at Minnesota.
Coach Patino really coached them up there in Minnesota, but they're just not a good team. So I'll take Iowa.
They're better than Michigan.
Let's relax. I know they beat them, but let's relax.
Who's higher in the standings?
Give me Minnesota at home. They're making a run at the tournament. Richard Pitino, great coach. It's so tough to win at the barn. I'm taking Minnesota.
I'm taking Minnesota for different reasons. Because the Iowa choke is upon us. I already have Iowa losing earlier this week, and I'm going to continue that trend. I'm taking Minnesota. All right.
Sits here and blows smoke up Fran McCaffrey's ass the whole time. Minnesota.
Listen, the barn's a tough place to play. No shame in losing there.
Yeah, except that's the only road venue where we've actually played well this year. It just shows how crappy
of a... Chrysler Library. I don't think there's a Minnesota fan in that building.
Yeah, that's
my God.
I will say that is true. Calling Chrysler Library is like calling the Minnesota place, what do they call it, the barn? That place is like a soundproof room compared to a library. You can't. It is so silent that you can't even. It's so silent that it's an advantage for Minnesota. All right.
So I still have to win them.
Indiana at Michigan.
Give me Michigan.
Michigan, because they're at home and Indiana sucks.
Listen, Archie Miller's a better coach in this matchup. Listen, who knows what'll happen? I think Indiana could win this game, but Michigan loves to lose at home. But I'm going to go with them. I'm going to take Michigan. All right. We got some Mountain West action here. San Diego State at Boise State.
Boise State's a great team. They have a good program, but unfortunately they're playing one of the best teams in the country, and I'll go San Diego State by 20.
Yeah, Boise State, dangerous place to play on the road, I guess, but the truth is, the Mountain West is a joke, aside from Nevada, because of how great of a coach Steve Alford is. But they already won at Nevada, so I'm going to take San Diego State.
I'm also going to take San Diego State. Boise's okay, but San Diego State, they're the class of that conference. So I'm going to take them. And that's going to do it for this episode of the Big Four Podcast. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.